Today we're going to be doing modifying a circuit card for a non-exit explosion-proof exit light, bug-out lights. And what you'll need, I prefer to use solder wick. You need solder, red, white, and black 16 gauge wire, and then you're also going to need black, white, and blue 20 gauge wires, strippers, solder, heat shrink, 1.5 inch and smallest as you can get, soldering iron, and a heat gun. So right now what I'm going to be doing is removing this LED and the power for the battery. So the way I like to do it is I like to flip the circuit card over, get my soldering iron, take some solder out, add a little bit of solder to both connections, and as my soldering iron is heating up both leads, I will flip it this way. You can see it, just let gravity do its work. As you heat up both of the leads, LED will fall. And that's your removal of your LED. And then to remove your battery connector, you do the same thing. Just add a little bit of solder. Make sure your soldering iron is touching both sides until it melts. Just hit it off. Now that's to remove both of those, which we won't need this anymore. We'll keep the LED because we're going to run that. Next, we want to remove the solder from your LEDs through hole and your battery cable holder. So I prefer solder wick. Some people prefer solder sucker. Basically the same concept. Just put your iron there, let it do its work, heat it up. That's one side. Now I'm doing the battery. So once that's removed, now we want to extend your LED out. So this is where we're going to use our blue wire. And then what we want to do is remove the LED like this. So we're going to use your left hand side, which is this side, as your blue wire. So the way I do it is I extend that out straight, and that's how we're going to identify which is the blue wire. Strip it off. Also tin my wire. Now we'll just want to solder that lead together. And that's soldered. And then we want to do the other lead, make that your white, which is your negative. wire. Just solder. There you go. And that's our LED. So now I usually like to measure out about, I don't know, 3 inches out and just make sure to cut flush. Then that's where a small heat shrink comes into play. So we just want to measure it out about how much heat shrink you're going to need. That's going to go all the way to the top. Now we want to install it back in. So remember, your blue side is always on the left hand side. Now we want to strip that back so we can stick that back onto the circuit board. Just remember, blue is on the left. Just flip the board over. Grab some solder. Just let it melt on in there. One leg. More solder. And then you just want to make sure you're touching both the pad and your wire so that both of them can get the solder and melt in there real good. And that's putting your LED out, extending it out. So now we're going to extend our battery cable out. We're going to use the white. We use white for pretty much our negative voltage. And that'd be, you can see here in the indicator you got nothing here, but you got a plus here, and that's your positive side. So you want to stick this to your negative side. And that just going straight in there. Again, flip it to the other side. Okay, let's melt it all the way through. And we're going to use black for our positive side. Now that's going to our positive side, which is closer into the board. Slide that in there, flip it upside down. Solder. There you go. So this is our battery cable now. We want to make that about the same length as our LED. Cut that flush off. And then with all these access leads, just cut them off. And now we're going to extend our power out. So this is where we're going to need our red, white, and black cable, 16 gauge. So in this way it goes, you can see it from here, it goes 220, 227, 120 volts, and your neutral. So when we're going to do it, we're going to put our red as our 277 volts. To do that, the way I like to do it is that I like to put as much solder as I can on this lead. Make like a solder bubble, should I call it, and also tin your cable so it can stick faster. So I'm gonna do our 277, and all you want to do is just create like a blanket over it, just cover it in solder. Turn it this way. Just hold it there for a second, let it dry. Good. Full test still on there. So we want to do the next one is going to be our 120 volts, which is black. Now we're going to do it the same thing. Add a little bit of solder here. Add some solder to our wire. And just cover it over. Give it a couple of seconds. Alright, should be good. And then our next one is our neutral. Same thing, just add a little bit of solder. To our wire. Let it dry. Full test, everything's good. Want to run those wires about the same length as everything else, and just cut them off. Okay. So once it's done, we also want to cut your reset button a little bit off. So I would just do about that much. Don't do too much. Finger over it, and that's it. Your 120 line and your neutral line, which is red for 277, black for 120, and white for neutral. And the same thing for this side. So we got black going to your positive side of your battery cable, which is your positive side, and your negative side for your battery. And for the LED, just like to keep it positive on the left side and negative for the other side, white for the other side. What is it? Non-exit, explosion-proof bug-out lights. So that's just the board for it. And once you get that done, just heat shrink it. Put your heat shrink, big heat shrink over the whole thing to cover it all up. That's the boy he shrunk. Of course, I'm gonna cut that off, but it's always better to have more than less.